All right, guys, hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a really cool Camaro in here, Camaro SS. We're doing a carbon fiber wrap on this thing. If you guys need prints, you need carbon fiber, head over to our website, stickerstatus.store. We can get you set up, we get it shipped right to you, get you the size that you need. If you need help with design work, we can help with that as well. So stop by our store, we can take care of that for you. So we're gonna get started on this thing as well. Before we get going, I'm gonna go over the tools that we're gonna need before we get started. So first things first, you need an installer knife, nice little snap-off blades. This is probably one of my favorite knives. It does a great job getting into nice little cracks. Got a good angle, the 35-degree angle. And we're able to get in areas. It's a good knife. Fit about 5 blades in it, so that works perfect. You can pick these up on Amazon. This is an NT cutter. They come in gray and yellow. They're both the same. So I think they even have a black version. So definitely my favorite tool as far as cutting goes. So that'll take care of that. The next thing I'm gonna use is a squeegee. Make sure you have a brand new buffer. So always switching out your buffers every time you use a use a wrap on a vehicle. You want to make sure you're swapping out every couple of panels, get a new buffer on there, so you're definitely going to need that. A tape measure is going to come in handy to make sure I get this thing straight and square. Not every time when you need one, but definitely have one on hand. The next thing you're going to want is a little zippy cutter. So that's going to cut your backing if you need to cut halfway through. Not every hood's going to use this, but it's a good tool to have no matter what you're doing with your wrap itself. A couple other things, always keep your blades tight. Never have your blades on the floor. It's how you have accidents, things like that. So I carry one of these with me. I got a little tucking tool. I'll probably need this in a couple of spots on my corners. Other than that, that's about it for this thing. And one last little tool, maybe not need on this hood, but on a lot of projects. This is a rat beddy. So this works really great for getting in little rounded corners, so I'm not dragging the material. So this is another good tool to have in your tool pouch. And then from there, the only other thing that we're gonna need is some 99% alcohol and a microfiber rag so we don't scratch the vehicle itself. So other than that, that's about all we need. If you need tools and things like that for your wraps, hit us up. We'll take care of that for you. We'll get them shipped out. All right, so we just got this thing printed on our latex printer. We went ahead and threw it into the laminator. So we've got a nice high gloss laminate on here. And we're gonna get it ready to go downstairs and to apply to the Camaro hood. Okay guys, so now we're at the stage where we're getting the hood prepped out. I went ahead and pulled the grill that's in here, just a couple of screws from underneath. So you wanna make sure that you get everything out of the way. If it's got little windshield squirters on here for your windshield wipers, go ahead and pull those things out. And also from that step after that, get everything pulled off. You're gonna wanna go through and clean everything. Get some alcohol, get a rag. Anywhere you got a lot of dirt, especially in these areas, you wanna get that out. And also where a lot of guys, thinking that we got all the dirt out, we're good to go. Get all the dirt out that might be underneath as well, because a lot of the material has a lot of static to it. So if you have dirt that's kind of sitting around even near the area, it's going to come into your material. So you want to get all that stuff out of the way. You can see what I just pulled out from underneath the hood here. You get all that stuff out of the way. It's going to save you a little bit of hassle down the road, and you'll end up with a better product long term. So just a couple of extra seconds is going to make sure you get all the dirt out of there and you're good to go. So we'll finish up a quick wipe on this hood, and then we'll be ready to put the material down in just a few minutes. So this part right here, obviously getting things cleaned and prepped, is literally the most important step of the project itself, because if you don't have a good surface, whether you're doing vinyl on a vehicle, you're putting vinyl on a floor, prep is where it's at. So the key is getting this thing super, super clean. If you've got to wipe it multiple times to get it to where you want it, that's okay. No big deal. Speed isn't necessarily the priority here. Quality at the end of the day is the name of the game. So we want to make sure we go super quality, making sure we're not touching anything with our fingers, getting oil on the actual vehicle itself. Have a super clean install. Every little bit wiped down. Notice I'm overlapping my wiping, so I'm going to do an initial wipe on this thing, and then I'm going to come back with a quick final just to remove anything that might be on here, any dust particles or anything like that in the air. I'm also going to wipe around the edge too, around where my material is going to be, so I don't pick up any dirt or anything like that. So I got the whole outside done. The other part of this whole thing is make sure that you're using a good microfiber rag. You want to make sure it's soft, make sure you're not going to be scratching the vehicle or anything like that. Costco rags work extremely well. So it's just one of those things where make sure you got good quality product, good quality tools. We're using a 99% alcohol on this, so it evaporates really quickly. A lot of guys will use a 70%, and that actually works really well. I just like 90% because it does evaporate a little quicker, and we can get to work a little faster. So what I'm doing now is I'm just gonna go ahead and go around the edges. I'm cleaning on top, around the edge of it, and also underneath. In fact, most of the dirt is actually underneath there, so we wanna make sure we get this nice and clean, because we are gonna tuck in around the hood edge just a skosh to make sure that we got some good coverage. You don't see any blue on the sides. So I'm gonna go through and wipe this real quick. Okay, so now that we've got the material set on top, I've grabbed our guys. Not everyone's gonna have a bunch of guys to be able to lay the material down. So in the event that you don't have a bunch of extra guys, what you're gonna wanna do, pull your corner, get everything laid out where you need it to be, pull your corner, get it set, and then you can yank the backing off, generally by yourself, or even maybe with one other person, yank that off and just reset your material. So that's your step if you don't have any help. In this case, we've got a couple extra pros. So we're gonna go ahead and actually lay this thing. We're gonna pull the whole backing first and lay it down in one piece. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. Grab that corner. There we go. Because you're going to be on the line where your hand is. I'm good. I got you if you want to grab that corner. Now we're just giving some stretch. We're going to create glass on this whole hood. You'll notice everywhere we go, we don't have any wrinkles. We're all following each other around. Get all the wrinkles out. We got this thing totally glass. Zach's got his side almost glass over here.
It's gonna work out because I need it in this corner.
Yeah, you need it there anyway. I can always throw some heat, but you should be. Boom. And that should be it. I got one little thing I'm going to work out right here. Boom, just like that. So the idea is you want that thing glass with 0 wrinkles on top. And now I'm going to start with a squeegee. Start from the center and start working my way out. Okay, so right now I'm starting in the center. I'm working my way over. Nice and even strokes, even tension all the way across the board. You'll notice I'm not working any wrinkles anywhere. None of that stuff. So I'm giving even tension. Going close to the edge, and then I'll work the edge here in just a quick second. Just kind of pop it up and let the air come out. Want to make sure you get in these channels, you don't trap anything in there. You're probably going to need some heat here in just a second. So it's going to create a little air channel in here. You don't want to lock that in. So I'm going to grab some heat. Okay, so now I'm going to just throw a little bit of heat in these deep channel here areas here. At the end of the day, there never should be any wrinkles in your wrap job. And the fastest way to get rid of those things is beforehand creating your glass like we just did. So now I'm just kind of working this in with my finger right along this edge just to be able to get any of this air out. I'm going to work it back over to this opening that we have here and start my way down on the front here. Just very little heat, just a little bit to relax the material. And that should do it. I got a little bit of an air bubble in here, and if you do get a little air bubble, go ahead and take a look at that. If you get a little air bubble in there, just massage it with your finger. This material likes heat, so just slightly massage it, the heat from your finger, make it come right out, just like that. You never want to squeegee over a bubble. Massage that with your finger. Maybe you need a little bit of heat. Shouldn't have to pop them because this is air release vinyl, so the air is designed to come out. Just massage it just a little bit, just like I'm actually doing here, just massaging that into place, nice and even. All the way around. Just like that. I'm going to come to the other side, do the exact same thing. All the way down. Working my way back with the air out through the channel so we don't channel lock anything in here. And that's the fastest way to eliminate any type of bubbles. So on this situation on this side, so I don't eliminate a bubble, I've got a little channel coming into here. So we're going to go ahead and just work that together real quick. Tiny bit of heat. And we're just going to work that in. Get the area and the air worked out into this opening here. And we should be good to go just like that. So nice and even, nice and smooth. And then we'll go ahead and trim that out in just a minute. So we're going to keep squeegeeing on the rest of this body line. Come over the ridge. And then it drops down just a little bit. So I'm going to take advantage of this huge drop and start working it in now. I'm starting to get some tension on the material just a little bit, so I'm going to relieve that with a little bit of heat. Coming down just a little bit. I got a little tension here, so we're going to work that in. So when we're working in this angle, we're drawing the material from this whole field, so we have very little stretch in here versus trying to work this down and then stretch this little bit of material into this little channel. So we're doing it the backwards way, so we have nice and even stretch. We don't want the pattern from the carbon fiber to stretch really at all, so we want to be able to just kind of heat this area out a little bit and have it kind of shrink into play just a little bit, just like that, nice and even. We don't have any stretching going on with our image. Bringing it right into position. As soon as we get down to the flat spot, then we can start squeegeeing down with our even strokes back and forth. We're almost there. It's going to curve down just a little bit. Yeah, so keep in mind every hood's a little bit different. Some of them have really high ridges in them. Some of them have a couple different size ridges, one on each side. So you just have to take a little bit different approach to it. But no matter what with your hood, once you create glass on this thing, it's going to ensure that you get this thing down without any wrinkles, because you get these channels and valleys, and the only way to get those down, glass over the top and heat those things into position, and you won't have any issues with your material long-term durability. Nice and even strokes coming through on each of the areas I'm going through. There's no reason to be in a hurry on anything like this. Taking care of every single stroke that you make. Make sure you get everything down. You're not leaving any bubbles behind. You're definitely not leaving any wrinkles. If you're getting wrinkles after you've created glass, you're probably pushing too hard on your squeegee, or you don't have your glass tight enough on your material. Okay, so I'm getting super close to my edges. You'll notice that my material's starting to set, and I'm building a little bit of a channel in here just from the adhesive starting to set down just a little bit. So what we're going to generally do on a lot of cases, so we'll work down as much as we can in this area without creating any wrinkles. Then we're just going to go ahead and pop the end of this thing just to relieve some of that air out of there. Just kind of work it down while we're keeping our glass nice and even. And then now we can come over this ridge so we're not trapping any air in here. And we are good to go. So we're basically going to do the exact same thing on the other side, and then we'll start trimming. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and get this thing trimmed out. I'm just going to do a nice little flush cut. I've got a nice even edge to be able to trim to here. Go ahead and trim this off. There's lots of little channels in here and that type of thing, so we're just going to take our time. We'll be very careful that we're not cutting into the paint, because that can cause rust issues and things like that after the fact. So I'm just kind of cutting very light against the edge, letting the edge of my blade just kind of ride the edge of the metal here. And then any pieces I need to clean up, I can clean up after I get the whole piece out of here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now that I got everything trimmed, I'm going to go ahead and heat this up so I can get everything kind of tacked into place. It's going to go ahead and mold where it needs to go. And then I'll come back and actually post-heat this just to get all the edges nice and worked in where they need to be at. Because all that will be covered, but we still want a clean install, so we want to keep everything super nice. So now I'm going to move on to the edges and start trimming there. Okay, so I'm getting ready to trim this top edge here. Generally on these, I'm going to make sure we fold over all the way and then flush cut it underneath. Most of the time, you're not going to be able to tuck in there anyway on most windshields or on most hoods. So get it folded all the way underneath, and then we're basically going to relief cut it underneath on the bottom. So when you look at it from the driver's seat, you won't see any of the material or any of the old color sitting here. You'll notice I've got a wrap glove on. This is actually a really helpful tool for me as an installer because it acts like a squeegee for my hand when I put it on. It also allows my hand to slide on the material really easily, especially when I'm cutting like this. I don't get any drag with my hand on the material. I'm going to come a little tab here so I can finish up this corner. So right now I'm going to relieve my corner up, so all I have is just the tip here. So we've added a little bit of stretch long term, so it kind of hooks onto our corner just a little bit. So as soon as we add some heat, we should see this thing suck right into the corner, and then we'll undercut it underneath it and relieve it, and it'll be good to go. So I'm going to grab a little heat in there, and you can see that it just works its way right around that corner because it has some tension on it. It shrunk itself into place. And there you are, you have a perfect corner right down there on the bottom, and we're just going to cut it and trim off the excess material right here. Before I do this corner, since I also have another rounded corner here, I'm also going to set that corner as well. So my material's already underneath. I'm just going to grab a little bit of heat, just kind of work it around in this area, and we are good to go. So right now I'm letting this material relax because we've pulled on it. So if I don't let it relax back out, these edges could end up peeling on me. So I want the material to be at its final stage before I roll it over. So now I'm going to start working this material around the edge. Glove works really well for this, so that way I don't get any wrinkles right on the edge itself. So I'm just slowly working this in together, nice and even. Not trying to work in too much at one time, just a little bit at a time. Because obviously this is going to be difficult to put a squeegee on, so you're going to need something that's going to slide across here nice and easy. So this is where your glove really comes into play. It'll save you some time. Getting this thing worked around the edge a bit. So now I've got my material worked all the way around the edge here. Come down a little farther down here. Working that thing over. Okay, now that I've got that, we're gonna start trimming up here. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you a little demo of where we trim. You can see right here, there's a little bead that folds over, and I've got a nice line to be able to trim to. And in fact, if you'll notice, there's a little bit of a gap in there. So I didn't stuff my material all the way down. So I'm gonna be able to lightly cut right inside that gap, so where I'm not actually cutting on the paint. And you can see right inside here, I'm just going to lay that in that channel, just barely scoring this material. Just like that. Let me pull this piece off and we'll give you a quick view. See that right there? That's exactly what you're looking for. You want a nice clean edge. Should go right to your body line there on the inside. And you're good to go. So repeat that process all the way around the hood, and then you're good to go. So right here, I'm just doing a little bit of an undercut until I get into my corner. Right there. A little more blade, and we're going to trim that off. So the last little piece is just a little flag underneath here. It's going to be a little bit difficult to get to. Getting the blade worked underneath. And a lot of hoods are pretty similar like this. These little corners down here are pretty tight. You get both your hands in here. making sure you don't cut your finger off. Okay, now I got that last little bit. It's all tucked up underneath there. I got one little tiny piece, it looks like, on the bottom of the corner, so I'm gonna go ahead and relieve that off. That's the main thing with your corners. You wanna make sure you don't have any tension on them, because otherwise they're gonna fail and they're gonna peel back. You'll get wrinkles and things like that. So you'll notice on my corner in here, I've got 0 wrinkles and I have 0 tension from when I pulled this thing in together and laid it down into this corner. So at the end of the day, we should never have an issue. Nice and smooth, 0 wrinkles and 0 tension. Nice and clean. Now that I got my edge down, we're just gonna go ahead and set it down with our finger. Fingernails come into play with this real nice, as we tuck everything into the edge, and we are good to go. All right, guys, so right now I got everything trimmed off. So the first thing we're gonna start with is we're gonna go ahead and post heat the edges first, and then we'll go to the field. So that way we make sure everything's set. We're gonna post heat it to about 190 degrees. That's gonna lock in the adhesive. And this is the most mandatory step of your wrap itself. Your wrap is not finished till it's post heated, or it will fail, no matter what.
What we do here is go back.
You'll notice our heat gun that we're using for this project, it's not anything fancy. We try lots of different heat guns. You know, our guys have different things they like with heat guns. As long as it gets hot enough, you want about 1800 watts to 1500 watts, no less than that. But you can get by with any type of a heat gun from, you know, Lowe's, Harbor Freight, anything like that. It just needs to be hot enough, 1500 to 1800 watt, roughly. Okay, and one of the main things that you want to make sure is when you're doing this as well, is make sure you bring one of these things with you to make sure you get everything hot enough. You want about 190. So we're just going to take this thing along and make sure we're getting plenty hot. If it doesn't get up to temperature, this thing will fail. Okay, so now you'll notice that we've got a little bit of blemishing going on the laminate itself, and that's directly off the laminate roll from 3M. They roll them super tight, so you're going to get a little bit of marring on that. But that's the nice part about when you take your heat gun. If you got any scratching going on when you're putting this vinyl on from your buffer, which you really should use a brand new buffer, you know, we're going to go ahead and get these things out with the heat gun. So you're going to watch these things basically disappear. As I go over this surface, you'll see them completely come out. And this is how we're going to maintain and ensure we have the most gloss surface. And then when we're done with this install, we're going to go ahead and ceramic coat the top of this vinyl, so that way it stays this way forever. All right, so now I'm putting on the ceramic coating. We use Ceramic Pro. We're an authorized Ceramic Pro installer as an elite dealer. Not everybody has access to Ceramic Pro itself, so you can find somebody local to you, or you can hit us up. We can take care of that for you. Or in some cases, if you're a shop, you know, you can obviously get set up if there's availability in your area for Ceramic Pro itself. But this step right here adds a beautiful sheen to it, and honestly, we don't feel comfortable putting out wraps that don't have ceramic coating on them, because realistically it is night and day. And I don't know if you can see the sheen changing on the material itself right now, but it's going from its normal gloss to an extreme high gloss that will stay with this product for the duration of the wrap itself. So right now I'm just leveling this out. We're going to go ahead and smooth out the nano ceramic. It's going to even out the coat itself, get rid of any lines that may be in it from when I was applying it. Final step. All right, guys, so we're all finished up. We're ceramic coated. Everything's post heated. It's been cleaned. It's all ready to rock. Customer's on his way. So if you like what you see here, guys, you like prints, you need prints for your projects, you need wrap for anything that you got going on, go to our website, stickerstatus.store, where you can order all that good stuff, order your stickers, whatever you guys need. And make sure that you comment down below if you guys want to see more videos coming by with some, you know, mirror wraps, hood, you know, roof wraps, anything like that. Comment down below what you guys want to see that'll help your project out, and we'll get a video whipped up for you. And hopefully this helped you guys out. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.